Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Brian, along with my co-host, Brett.
What's up?
We're here to talk 90 Day Fiancé the other way. This is season 4, episode 12. The glow soon becomes ashes. Sorry, I have bad handwriting, everybody. Okay, this was another episode that I felt like they're building to this end point. So we finally got to meet Danielle's ex-boyfriend that we've been being teased for weeks and weeks and weeks. We were talking pre-show. Brett thought they missed it because he hasn't been on. He wasn't on last week. We finally are going to get somewhere with Nicole and her decision making. And another major one is Rishi and Jen. They're kind of coming to a collision course here, like before we get to the end of the season. Overall, what did you think of this episode?
It was an episode. I mean,
Yeah.
it was fine. There was a few interesting, funny things that happened, and then some other just boring, drawn out drama that keeps getting recycled every week.
Right.
So
And yeah, it's kind of been a theme. I feel like the last couple of weeks when we're watching the show is like, there's a lot of things that like, especially the main thing to me is the Danielle. Like I said, we're meeting her Talon. We're meeting Talon. And they teased this weeks ago. And to me, and like another thing, like we're going to talk about Kris and Jamie, how long this show must have been filming for is crazy because Kris
yeah,
has been back in Alabama for now 5 months. It was 3 months last episode. Now it's 5.
these timelines are all over the
It's
table. Like
crazy.
the Kris 5 months thing. Like I missed last week, but the week before she was in
Yeah,
Columbia.
exactly, dude.
Now,
The jumping is nuts. Like
yeah.
I'm
And
sure some of these shows, like literally COVID, like had just happened. Maybe even on the Kris and Jamie one because it's just how long 2 weeks is 2 months, and 1 week of a show is 2 months for them.
I wish
So
they
it's
had like
just,
timestamps or something,
I know,
just so
me too, man. I really
we
do.
know the date of the footage,
I agree.
so
I agree.
process it a little bit.
Yeah,
And
especially because we're jumping around like so much on the shows, and
yeah, the Danielle thing, I feel like she's become like the least important character on the show. Like she barely gets any screen time because the boyfriend thing's been getting drawn out. Who knows how long that actually took? Probably like
right.
a week or two, not
Mm-hmm.
anything
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But now I'm excited that I didn't miss the confrontation with Johan, and we get to see what happens because that dude's like a basketball player, so
Yes.
he didn't seem like quite the wussy that I thought he was going to be. So it'll be interesting to see them get together.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I know it's been a long time coming, but I think the interaction is going to be good because I don't think his Spanish is like 100% great, and he picks up on like what he was saying, which I thought was pretty funny. So that maybe that means that him and Danielle were doing some dirty talk at some point that he knows the word for dick.
Yeah, yeah, because
Um,
in the trailer, he knows that that's what Johan says, or
yeah,
he.
yeah,
Would you say, bro? What was that?
yeah, right. So I mean, besides that, I think that relationship there's really not much to talk about because it was such a brief like thing today. We
Yeah,
met
they're
Talon,
just
he's
always
an ex-basketball
arguing.
player. But
Every time Johan's on the screen, he just argues with Danielle, and
yeah,
she's like, me, I'm going to do whatever I want." So
right. So I mean, we're agreeing that they're not going to make it, right?
probably not.
Yeah. Another quick one that I think, not that it's not important, but Gabe and Isabella. Gabe goes back to the States to get his marriage, or not his marriage, his birth certificate updated. He's still there. His sister's kind of pushing back on him about like, hey, why did you tell us that we got engaged? Like, we want to be a part of your life. Is she like your exes? And she doesn't really think thought fondly of Gabe's women choices. So
She calls. She says that Gabe likes women that are needy, jealous, and stupid.
yeah.
And
So
they all have an additional X factor that makes them suck, and they break up. So she's like, what is this one for this girl? I forgot her name, Isabel.
yeah, and I didn't find anything about like what she was like. She wasn't being like over the top. I thought like he has a pattern, and she doesn't want to see him make a mistake. And for him to come back and be like, by the way, I'm getting married next week, or I'm getting married in a month. That's pretty shocking. It's a natural reaction to react the way that she did and his mom did.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
still think that one's going to be fine. I mean, next week we got a little trailer that they're meeting, and it looks like his sister's surprised that she speaks English. Just from like, she's like, oh, hey.
Well, it's like another thing with this one where they have to like artificially insert drama, just
Right.
like they would have to artificially insert Isabel if they had a child. But
Mm.
with the sister thing, they it's gonna be nothing, but they're making it look like it's something.
I agree. I think that one's still gonna be fine. Just like a big smoke screen. Another one that like to me is dead, complete dead. Like we talking about Kris and Jamie. You brought up something in pre-show that I completely forgot about, or like even if they said it because today, that Kris told Jamie to quit her job, and Kris keeps talking about like what'd you say?
Well, that was what Jamie told her friend when they were
Yeah,
eating this episode. She
right,
said
right,
that Kris told me to quit my job because we were going to start a business together because Kris couldn't get a job there or something like that. So, and now Kris, this whole thing, she's like complaining that Jamie doesn't have a job and needs to find
right.
another one. Jamie apparently can't get one or has a hard time because Colombia is like anti-Venezuelan or something, where they don't want to work with Venezuelans. So another weird thing where like, oh, you're gonna look at someone's birth certificate and be like, hey, you're not what I want you to be. Like with Gabe being a woman or instead of a man to get married, and then with her being Venezuelan.
Yeah, I mean maybe that could be an excuse. I don't know. Maybe that's an excuse, but Kris is like dying on that hill. Like, oh, I don't feel appreciated. But at the same time, like, are you forgetting that you told her to quit her job?
Yeah, and she says she's sending her money, but then Jamie was like, "Oh, she hasn't sent me money in 2 months, so I don't
Right,
know."
like who's telling the truth here? Like that's the reunion. We need the reunion to get to the bottom of that relationship. Like what's really happening there.
Yeah,
So hopefully by then they can like do a couple edits, drop production in, or the host can, or the moderator can really dive in. But
I feel like Jamie's probably not trying as hard as she could to get a job, but I also feel like Kris is like psychopath and
yeah, I
doesn't.
think it's literally 50-50. Like no one, they're both at fault here. It's not like one's right, one's the other one's right, wrong. But I think it's 50-50. Like you try to get a job. Like I don't think you're trying that hard.
Yeah, and then Kris won't even talk to Jamie on the phone or something because she's working.
Yeah, she's like tired and it's like she's too busy power
Yeah,
washing driveways. All right, big ones. The I think this is the end is Nicole and Mahmood. They go shop. She goes shopping with his. I guess her sister in law would be who that is, right? And she's kind of showing him around her around and like how to shop because she doesn't know. And it's funny to me that she moved to a country and she doesn't know how to speak the language. Like she has no knowledge of anything. And
It's not like
she,
it's not like a typical grocery store where you can just go in and buy something. You have to like haggle or negotiate
yeah,
prices, or I guess you have to verbally find out what the price is. So
right. But I mean, you should have learned how to speak the language at least a little bit. Like you're hindering yourself. But she decides that she wants to go back to America, and she tells Mahmood this. And I think they were even said this earlier in the season that like he had applied to get a green card, and like she didn't do it because she wanted to go there, something like that. Like she's held something up. I think it was like episode 1 or 2, if my memory is correct.
well, I didn't
And
realize that that was an option that he was open to moving to America. So I guess that's interesting. New events.
it doesn't sound like he is though, but he had a confessional today where he was like, "Oh, they're gonna not treat me right because I'm Muslim. I'm from the Middle East." And so I think that one's done. This is just like a lifeline that's gonna go nowhere, I think.
I I want to see him in America. I want to see.
Yeah, no, I do too.
I
I want
want
to see
to
him and
I want to
Johan
see
in
him
America.
go there and see what happens.
Yeah, I really would like
I
that.
don't think Johan's gonna make it to America because
No,
he's
he's
on
not, but I would like to see it. I would like to
timetable.
see it. I really like to see it. Him in Miami would be very interesting to me.
As soon as he gets off the plane, he'd be like, "Bye."
Yeah, see it. Peace. Peace, Daniel. um, something I wanted to bring up first, but I just was on a roll. Debbie and Osama. Debbie falling off that donkey was very funny to me. She
Yeah,
was
I
like, I
didn't.
have no butt.
Yeah, when she was whispering to it originally, or she was singing to it,
Mhm.
her Irish lullaby or whatever that
Yeah,
was, a screaming banshee, just like Carolyn from Survivor. But I was like, there's no way she can ride that thing. It's tiny, and she's
yeah,
not
it was super
tiny.
tiny. And that saddle
And
was huge.
she was on
Yeah,
it.
that
She's
saddle
very
was so big. And she fell off. She blamed it on Sama. And then another part I laughed at was when he was like, so he's like, we need to paint. We need to paint. We're gonna miss the sunset. They go to paint. And she keeps talking. He's like, I need to paint in silence. And then so she's like, okay, I'll be quiet. And then she's just like, hmm, 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 hmm.
So this was super interesting at the end of this, where I guess his family and him are under the impression that he's going to America, and he's like adamant about this, which I had no idea until this episode. And then he even brought out the dark side of himself, and he like started going a little crazy at the end of the episode. And you're like, oh wow, this guy might like do something nuts. And I was wondering if their whole relationship prior was them just texting, because she said that he was very sweet and stuff in their texts, and she's like, should I just get out my phone and text him? So this might be the first time they've ever like actually spoken to each other.
Yeah, I find that weird if that's the case, because you would think that if you're gonna go somewhere, you could video chat or talk on the internet. It's not like the old days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that's crazy. If that's true, that's another thing in the reunion that hopefully they can like dive in on and be like, hey, how many conversations did you actually have? Because you can't really. I mean, I guess you could tell how someone's emotions or reaction on a text, but like not all the time. Like you could be reading it the way you want to read it, and they could be saying it a way that is different than the way you're reading it. So,
oh yeah, I went through this multiple times trying to text.
Yeah, I think this one's done.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, because he's like letting out.
He's calling her mentally ill.
Yeah, he's insulting her and stuff, and demanding to go to America, which was not what they had planned. Right. So this one took a turn. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one I'm really excited about on the reunion, because this is probably the one we've seen the least of the entire show. But I'm interested. The reunion looks great, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, the big guy, the big one, Jen and Rishi. Jen, her friends are still there. We kind of picked right back up from last week at the dinner, or I don't know what is dinner or lunch, and where they're confronting Rishi about like the pictures and the catfishing, and they hire a translator, and they have to explain to the translator, like, look, I want you to say everything I say. Like, don't filter it. Don't like change. Like they could, you know how I don't know. I don't speak another language very fluently, but if you say something, I'm sure they'll switch it to make it more fluent in the other language. They're like, no, say it exactly how we say it, like, because we're going to tell them some things that his family probably doesn't know. So we want like real reactions. We want their reactions 100%. And I think this is what she needs to do. She needs to put the ball is now in her court to like put his ass to the flames.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that was the whole thing with this episode, is her and her friends are there, and they're planning to basically just have her friends tell the parents, so that you can't blame her for it, and you can't like rely on Rishi to own up to doing it on his own. So the friends are just going to blurt it out and see what happens. So that was interesting to see it. And I thought it was funny when the translator came in and Jen was like, hey, they might just make this girl marry Rishi.
Yeah, that we'll see. I mean, I wonder if that'll come up at all, but I thought that was a funny comment. It's another one. I just think it's done. It's done. Where are you at on that one?
Probably. I don't know.
I just don't trust these people either. Like they're so hard on a point, and then next week they completely change their mind. Like they have no backbone about like any or push. They give like they'll take any pushback. So I
feel like he will be pissed once they he tells the parents without his permission. I think he's gonna be pissed. So yeah.
But I mean, I don't. I think Jen needs to do this. This is what she needs to know, like, because like she can leave. Like this is it. Like you're going home. Like shit or get off the pot here, Rishi.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long they've been engaged, but they've been together for 3 years, and the parents don't even know that they're dating. So that is,
that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem. But I'm looking forward. I know this to me was like kind of a setup episode. I'm really looking forward to I don't know how many episodes are left, but this next week I'm looking forward to. I think we're gonna get some like the climaxes of a lot of major points in the season, and the reunion. I think the reunion, we were talking, Bill and I were talking last week. Apparently it looks great. Like I'm looking forward to that a lot. I want some confrontation. I want some heads to butt, and get some maybe behind the scene details. Maybe especially like Brad and I were saying, we're like, how long was this show for some of these couples? Because sometimes it feels like it's 3 months, sometimes, and the other one it's years. Seems like years.
That's interesting too. With like where is the reunion in this? Like, does each one of these stories have an ending point, and then they weren't able to have a reunion until each couple reached an ending point? I guess so. Maybe
who knows?
Yeah, or some couples still going to be in like the wishy-washy phase where
Yeah,
they're
like a live update kind of thing.
right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, that's why I'm really looking forward to it. But so check us out next week for that. We will be here. Check out a lot of our other things. We did Love is Blind a few weeks ago. We have Survivor. We have the challenge at some point. We had one episode and then we kind of took a little break. We're going to be doing jury duty next week. That we're going to do like a season review of that show because that's like kind of like toting the line, kind of like when we did the rehearsal. We have Below Deck. We have Jersey Shore. We have Married at First Sight. And if you have also any suggestions for a show you'd like us to cover and watch, let us know. Drop it in the comments. We'll always check something out. We also have a merch store, and we also have a charity that is also in the description of this show. So definitely check all these things out. But for myself and Brett, we'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.